The atmosphere around New Zealand rugby feels different, and for many supporters, that change has been impossible to ignore. After a convincing clean sweep of the July Test series, the conversation surrounding the All Blacks has shifted from uncertainty to genuine optimism. Confidence is returning, belief is growing, and perhaps most importantly, there is a renewed sense of identity in the way the team is playing. Former World Cup winning coach Sir Steve Hansen, one of the most respected figures in rugby history, believes supporters have every reason to be excited about what lies ahead. Having watched the team's performances closely under new head coach Dave Rennie, Hansen described this period as an exciting time to be an All Blacks fan, suggesting the players are beginning to rediscover the qualities that made New Zealand rugby one of the most feared forces in world sport. His comments have sparked conversations across the rugby community because they come from a coach who understands exactly what it takes to build a championship-winning team. When Dave Rennie accepted the challenge of leading the All Blacks, expectations were enormous. Coaching New Zealand is widely regarded as one of the most demanding jobs in international rugby. Every match is scrutinized, every tactical decision is debated, and every result carries enormous weight. Success is expected rather than celebrated. That pressure has overwhelmed many talented coaches throughout rugby history, but according to Sir Steve Hansen, Rennie arrived with the experience, knowledge, and personality needed to embrace the responsibility rather than fear it. Having coached across multiple continents and against some of the world's best teams, Rennie brought a broad understanding of the modern game. His experience in Europe, Japan, and with the Wallabies allowed him to observe different rugby philosophies, and now many believe those lessons are beginning to shape an exciting new chapter for New Zealand rugby. One of the qualities Hansen praised most was Rennie's ability to communicate. In elite sport, technical knowledge means little if players cannot fully understand and believe in the message being delivered. According to Hansen, when Rennie speaks, his ideas make sense. That clarity appears to be reflected on the field, where the All Blacks have looked organized, confident, and committed to a shared vision. Rather than relying on individual brilliance alone, the team has begun operating with greater cohesion, making smarter decisions under pressure and showing patience when opportunities are not immediately available. That collective understanding has become one of the defining characteristics of their recent performances. The latest victory over Ireland, a convincing 40-21 result at Eden Park, provided another example of that growing confidence. From the opening minutes, New Zealand imposed its physical presence and controlled the tempo of the contest. The players attacked with purpose, defended aggressively, and displayed impressive discipline throughout the match. Every phase seemed connected to the next, reflecting countless hours of preparation behind the scenes. Supporters watching from the stands and millions following around the world witnessed a performance that reminded many of the traditional strengths associated with the famous black jersey. According to Hansen, one of the most encouraging aspects was the team's clarity. Every player appeared to understand his role, allowing the entire squad to function with greater efficiency. Rugby at the highest level demands split-second decision-making, and confusion can be punished immediately. Yet the All Blacks consistently looked composed. Whether moving the ball through multiple phases, competing at the breakdown, or reorganizing defensively after turnovers, there was a calmness that suggested the squad had fully embraced the coaching staff's approach. Equally impressive was the skill level displayed across the field. Modern rugby is faster than ever before, leaving little margin for technical mistakes. Accurate passing, intelligent support lines, quick decision-making, and strong handling under pressure are essential. Throughout the July tests, New Zealand demonstrated improvement in all of these areas. The players kept the ball alive, maintained continuity through multiple attacking phases, and consistently created space against organized defensive systems. Those improvements were not simply the result of individual talent but evidence of growing chemistry throughout the squad. Perhaps the biggest difference has been the team's willingness to attack with confidence. In recent seasons, international rugby has often become dominated by tactical kicking contests and defensive pressure. While those elements remain important, many supporters have missed the creativity traditionally associated with New Zealand rugby. Under Dave Rennie, there appears to be a renewed commitment to playing with ambition whenever opportunities present themselves. Rather than forcing risky passes, the players are making intelligent decisions that balance attacking intent with game management. Statistics from the opening stage of the competition reflected that evolution. The All Blacks finished with 18 tries across 3 matches while also leading in carries and meters gained. Those numbers illustrate far more than attacking flair. They demonstrate sustained possession, effective support play, and confidence to challenge defensive lines repeatedly. Every successful carry creates momentum, and every line break increases pressure on the opposition. By maintaining that attacking rhythm, New Zealand consistently forced opponents to defend for extended periods, eventually creating scoring opportunities. One player who has attracted particular attention is Jordie Barrett. Long recognized for his versatility and composure, Barrett has added another dimension through his intelligent kicking game. Rather than simply clearing territory, he has repeatedly identified space behind defensive lines, forcing opponents to turn and chase. Those well-placed kicks not only relieve pressure but also create attacking opportunities by disrupting defensive structures. They represent the type of calculated decision-making that separates elite teams from average ones. Another exciting contributor has been Ruben, whose confidence continues to grow at international level. His ability to find touch through accurate 50-22 kicks has provided New Zealand with valuable attacking platforms while rewarding intelligent tactical awareness. Modern rugby increasingly values players capable of making quick decisions based on defensive positioning, and Love has demonstrated exactly that quality. His performances suggest a player willing to trust his instincts while remaining committed to the team's overall strategy. Sir Steve Hansen described this approach as returning to what he called the triple threat philosophy. Rather than becoming predictable, the All Blacks aim to present three constant possibilities. They can run, they can pass, and they can kick. Defenders are therefore forced to prepare for multiple outcomes every time New Zealand gains possession. That uncertainty creates hesitation, and hesitation at test level often lasts only a fraction of a second. Yet that brief moment can be enough for world-class players to exploit space and create scoring opportunities. The relationship between those three attacking options is central to New Zealand's recent success. A dangerous running game forces defenders closer to the attacking line. As defenders compress, space opens behind them for tactical kicks. Once opponents begin protecting that space, wider passing opportunities emerge. Each element strengthens the others, creating an attacking cycle that becomes increasingly difficult to defend. According to Hansen, the All Blacks are only beginning to master this balance, suggesting there remains considerable room for further improvement. Another encouraging development has been the apparent unity within the squad. Elite rugby teams require more than talent. They require trust, accountability, and shared commitment. Hansen suggested that togetherness may have been missing during previous seasons but believes the current group appears tightly connected. That bond is often invisible in statistics, yet it becomes obvious through body language, communication, and collective effort during difficult moments. Throughout the July tests, players consistently celebrated one another's success, worked tirelessly in support, and responded positively whenever momentum shifted. Former Wallabies head coach Ewan McKenzie also praised New Zealand's evolving style, offering an interesting tactical perspective. For much of recent international rugby, aerial contests generated by repeated box kicks have dominated many matches. Teams focused heavily on territory, defensive pressure, and structured kicking exchanges. While effective, that approach sometimes reduced attacking creativity. According to McKenzie, New Zealand is demonstrating that there are still alternative pathways to success at the highest level. Rather than relying excessively on high ball contests, the All Blacks have incorporated a wider variety of attacking kicks. Grubbers behind rushing defensive lines, well-weighted chips into space, and intelligent crossfield kicks have all become part of their attacking arsenal. Those decisions are not random acts of creativity but carefully selected options based on defensive positioning. By varying their approach, New Zealand prevents opponents from becoming comfortable or predictable in defense. McKenzie also pointed toward the influence of the Springboks, whose recent success encouraged many international teams to imitate their physical, territory-based style. Powerful forward play, dominant driving mauls, and relentless defensive pressure became tactical priorities across world rugby. While those strengths remain highly effective, McKenzie believes New Zealand has reminded everyone that skill, movement, and intelligent decision-making remain equally capable of winning test matches. Instead of copying another nation's identity, the All Blacks appear determined to strengthen their own. That contrast has increased anticipation surrounding the upcoming rivalry between New Zealand and South Africa. Rugby supporters have always viewed meetings between these nations as special occasions, but the evolving tactical differences promise another fascinating chapter. One side brings extraordinary physical power and relentless pressure. The other increasingly emphasizes skill, variety, and attacking adaptability. Neither philosophy is inherently superior. Success will likely depend upon execution, discipline, and the ability to impose one style upon the other during key moments. For Dave Rennie, however, maintaining perspective will be essential. Early success often creates soaring expectations, and international rugby can change quickly. Opponents will study New Zealand's recent performances in extraordinary detail, searching for weaknesses to exploit. Every attacking pattern, kicking strategy, and defensive system will receive careful analysis. The challenge now is not simply repeating previous performances but continuing to evolve before rivals can successfully counter them. Fortunately for the All Blacks, the foundations appear increasingly solid. Their attacking confidence is supported by disciplined defense, their creativity by structured decision-making, and their individual brilliance by collective understanding. Those qualities rarely emerge overnight. They develop through consistent coaching, honest communication, and players fully embracing shared objectives. The July tests may ultimately be remembered not simply because of the victories themselves but because they signaled the beginning of a new direction built upon familiar New Zealand values. Supporters understand that far greater challenges still await. Championships are not won in July, and history offers countless examples of teams starting strongly before encountering setbacks later in the season. Injuries, fatigue, tactical adjustments from opponents, and the relentless demands of international rugby will all test this squad. Yet confidence is growing because the performances suggest improvement is driven by sustainable habits rather than temporary momentum. Perhaps that is why Sir Steve Hansen's words have resonated so strongly throughout the rugby world. Having guided New Zealand to the pinnacle of international rugby, he recognizes the signs of a team moving in the right direction. His praise was not based solely on the scoreboard but on the visible development of the group's identity, clarity, and belief. Those qualities often separate good teams from truly great ones. Whether this promising beginning ultimately leads to championship success remains impossible to predict. Rugby's highest level leaves no room for complacency, and every opponent will arrive determined to challenge New Zealand's resurgence. Yet one conclusion seems increasingly difficult to dispute. The All Blacks are once again playing with confidence, ambition, and purpose. Their supporters have rediscovered reasons to believe, experienced coaches see encouraging signs of long-term progress, and the international rugby community is watching closely as one of the sport's most famous teams attempts to write another memorable chapter in its remarkable history.